Now, here's the funny thing. I'm gonna play you guys a clip of the Dan Lambert show, or the Dan Le Batard show, and you're gonna hear pretty much the stupidest thing that got made up in this entire clip. It's pretty much the dumbest thing you will ever
I've not heard the clip yet, guys. So this is my first reaction. I've never heard the clip.
Yeah, I have, and it's like, I'll tell you this. It's like designed to get Ohio State fans raging in a sense.
Poorly, and I was trying to guess who's a team that does that this year, and my answer will shock you.
So 1 through 10, it's Ohio State, Greg, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Notre Dame, Indiana, Miami is 7, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Ole Miss. So which of those, Mike, do you think could be like a Clemson or like an LSU and they end up being unranked?
So what you look for here in trying to predict which team is going to have a poor season, it's got to have a tough schedule. It's got to run into other ranked teams, so it's got to be from a stacked conference. You try to eliminate some teams that probably won't have a really bad season because their schedule, both out of conference and in conference, is a bit favorable. Miami, hopefully they can make the ACC championship, but I don't think Miami is going to be bad, right? I don't think Miami is going to be finishing unranked. So we keep them in there. Same thing with Notre Dame. Indiana, that might be a contender for a lot of people because they won the championship last year. They lost Mendoza, but they brought in Hoover, and they're still pretty talented. And if you look at their schedule, it's pretty favorable, especially non-conference.
Ohio State at home, at Michigan.
Yeah, so
USC at home.
I was torn between Georgia, and Ohio State.
Whoa. Ohio State's the one we're going to be
Ohio
right?
State would be my prediction right now because they lost like a bajillion guys in the NFL draft. That was a lot of talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And
at Texas week 2.
Now, I know Ryan Day's had success there, but I feel like that was the end of their run. College football's changed. Being able to stack the classes, that's not really there. And I just think that they're on a downward trajectory. There's always a top 10 team, it seems. That
okay, so go ahead.
Finishes the season unranked. They end up firing their coach.
So that was the end of the clip, by the way, basically just replayed. That was when he says Ohio State is on a downward trajectory. I'm like, please tell me what the downward trajectory looked like to me. Like, you're seriously sitting here saying that Ohio State's on a downward trajectory. Oh, they can't stack talent. Buddy. 5th, 4th, 3rd in all their classes regarding the recruiting class. So they're still stacking talent. And not only that, but they're also top 15 in portal classes, so it's not like they're terrible there either. Like, are you confusing Ohio State with Clemson? Are you confusing Ryan Day with Dabo Swinney? And when you're talking about losing talent, and I get Ohio State loses talent, but tell me this real quick. How long has that been going on exactly? Like, they've been losing talent for how long to the NFL? On top of that, where do you see the downward trajectory starting again on Ohio State? I don't get what you're talking about, buddy. They're still stacking talent. As a matter of fact, this might be the deepest team they've had in a long time. The only thing you can say that they have is a tough schedule. And even then, I don't think Ohio State goes unranked. Like, you're talking about they're going to go unranked? Since when did that happen? The last time that happened, they went 6-7 for Tattoo-gate.
First, this was my face. This is my face because I'm love Michigan. Ohio State is dog walking Michigan. Love Texas. I don't think Texas, because we said this last season, Texas has an incredible team, but we don't know where Archie Manning is going to play well or not, and that determines how good Texas is going to be. USC, as a threat to Ohio State in the Big Ten Conference, is crazy to me. But, okay,
Look,
Yeah,
the only thing they got on Ohio State is you're getting them at home. But even then, I don't think you beat Ohio State.
I
You
don't.
could give them a fun little game, but I don't think so.
I don't think when we're talking about powerhouse teams, and but you know the crazy thing is, this is not the. I don't understand this. I remember a couple years ago, Shannon Sharp said the same thing about Ryan Day and about how his trajectory is, and how we don't know if he's one of those national championship coaches, and Ohio State's culture has changed, and all this other stuff. And it always comes back to, well, Ohio State has been dominant, but their run is coming to an end because we lost guys to the NFL, and like no other guys are going to come in. Like we weren't going to get no other recruiting classes to come back to Ohio State. Literally, just this week, setting them up for a future, we have a 2028 committed player to Ohio State in the quarterback to help out that class, which is incredible for Ohio State. But where is this trajectory that every single year Ohio State's run is coming to an end? Where like, oh yeah, last year they were good, but now they're going to be unranked. They're not going to make the conference. They're not going to even make the Big Ten tournament. And I'm like, from whose schedule standpoint are you seeing this from? Where are you seeing games where defenses just collapse and they just don't win a game? I know, I'm trying to understand. Even last season, some games were, a little bit harder than others, but Ohio State came out on top almost every time. Now, from that list you just gave me, I'm going to be honest with you. My teams are Notre Dame and Indiana. Indiana has talent, but that entire team has just changed around from last season. How do we know that Indiana's going to be still in that conversation of being in the playoffs compared to Ohio State? And we just saw how last year Notre Dame didn't even, in their minds, didn't get a chance to make the playoffs, but got a chance to make the bowl game and didn't accept that because they felt they were robbed of a CFB playoff spot. But yeah, no, Ohio State for sure. Georgia, I think Georgia's up and down. Georgia, we're
Yeah.
not.
But they're up and down, but they still make the playoffs. That's the funny thing about it.
So I don't. But do I?
And not only that too, but like Miami would be another one because like think about it, they lost so much talent. They lost Ruben Bain. They lost the other DN opposite of him because that was their whole defense last year. We don't know how good their secondary is going to be. We don't know how good their linebacker unit is going to be. We don't know how good their offensive line is going to be since they lost majority of their talent to the NFL, just like Ohio State. But the difference is we've never seen Miami be able to just come back after that. And not only that, but they also have the tendency to lose games they got no business losing to. It's like what Ohio State fans used to complain about with Urban Meyer. When he lost one game, he had no business losing. At least it was only one. But Miami has the ability to lose 2 or 3 games they got no business losing. So, like, we don't even know if they're going to win majority of their ACC games. So that's another team for me. And it's like, what? And look, what you said about Indiana is, I said it too. I said there's a chance they make the playoffs, but I'm like, I'm not going to go out of my way to crown Hoover or something because here's the thing. Indiana's team is turned around where he's more of a gunslinger. He's not like Mendoza. Like, at least I could give Mendoza this credit where he can stay in the pocket and make throws. Yes, is he as consistent over the middle of the field as I like him to be? No. But look, at least he's able to make throws in the pocket to the boundaries. He doesn't make stupid passes that could get interceptions. Yeah. He doesn't do that. Like, Hoover will do that stuff because he's a playmaker. That's what he's got to be if he's going to be successful.
He's looking for the big play. And that
always
can come back to bite, but that's where Indiana has to show him how to slow the pace down. That college is the basis where you're supposed to critique and polish your quarterback to be ready for the next level, if that's the plan. Now, if Indiana is looking to make another run of impact of getting back to the college football playoffs and back to the college championship, they have to clean up those things. Do I see Indiana as the best team in college football right now? I don't know. It's too many question marks. I don't think as of right now, I don't think Indiana is going back to the championship game.
They have a chance, but I don't think so. I think it might be Oregon or Ohio State. And look, Ohio State, yes, they got the tougher schedule, but it's like I've seen them work with tough schedules before. People tend to forget that 2024, yes, they didn't have a tough non-conference game. They were trying to get one, but nobody wanted to play them because they were afraid of that team. But they did have a tough conference schedule with 3 top 5 matchups. They lost one, lost to their arch rival for the second year in a row, and still made the playoffs, went on and won the whole natty. So yeah, they got like a tough schedule this year. That's no different from last year, except just the non-conference game. And again, people, when you talk about against some of these teams, like I said, Notre Dame could possibly not make it because they have the tendency to lose games they got no business losing to as well.
True.
But
Being that they're independent, it's harder for them to even stay in the conversation of being.
oh yeah, they can't lose no more than one game if they want to make it in. If they lose 2, they're out because it's a 14 playoff basically for them. As long as they're independent, you can't lose 2 games, especially top tier games. Or to G5 schools or to bottom tier schools in other conferences. Like, you can't lose.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate part for him. That's where, when that list came out, I'm like, you got to be kidding me when you're saying this. Like, tell me you're not being serious when you're saying this. Tell me that you're just, like, this is what I'm saying. They're saying this just for clickbait, in my opinion, or either he truly believes this. I don't know.
I think he believes it.
If you truly believe this, buddy, man, you need some goddamn help. As a matter of fact, if you guys haven't already, check it out on the OHL podcast. Eric had made a video about something Vader had said about Ohio State in training camp because he's very well connected. We know who he's connected to. Not gonna say their name because we don't want to get them in trouble. But we know who Vader's sources are that he's connected with very personally. And he's gotten a lot of information. If you guys aren't already, go to Patreon and be a member of the OHL podcast to get that information. Sign up for $5 if you want that information, by the way, because you only get the free chat. You don't get the other stuff that has the information you're looking for. But the information that Vader had came back with had a lot to do with Ohio State regarding how the team looks. So here we're gonna go. I'm finna pull it up in a minute right here. If you guys haven't, you can check it out on Eric's video. And by the way, shout out to my best friend Janaya right here. Shout out to her. But what I'm finna do, if it just exit me out, it did. I'm gonna show you guys exactly what Vader means, and I'm gonna show it on my Patreon screen. If you guys want, like I said, if you guys want to see this information, you sign up to Patreon. Sign up for $5 to get the full amount. All right. So here it is right here, the chat room for it, and he talked about what the offense and defense look like. Now, for starters, and I'm not going to read all of it, but I'll break it down for you. Julian Sain is commanding the offense.
Right.
Shocker, shocker. Of course, he should be doing that, as a matter of fact. And it's not surprising. In matter of fact, they're going to have him calling plays on the line of scrimmage because of his intelligence. His tight ball window throwing has been even better than it's been before. Arthur Smith has this guy working in the NFL offense. You have Bo Jackson and the running backs. Bo Jackson and Isaiah West are being seen like Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins back in 2024 is what that backfield looked like with the two of them. And then you got Legend Bay, who's been making plays. And it seems like, from what I understand, as Vader points out right here, Arthur Smith is going to try to get Legend Bay 7 to 10 touches per game. Whether that's through runs, screens, motions, and specialized packages should all be possible for Legend Bay. Because of how electric he is. And even Jacoby Jackson is someone who I think will be in the C.J. Donaldson role, except he'll be way better at it than C.J. Donaldson. Not a shot at C.J., but it's factual. He's going to be far better than C.J., and he's a really good running back at that, and a powerful one at that. So you pretty much got a pretty deep running back room, and there's been a lot of good things about Turbo in them. Yeah. Then you got the offensive line, because this is the biggest reason why Arthur Smith got hired, because Arthur Smith to the offensive line is what Ryan Day is to the quarterbacks as a coach. And apparently, the offensive line is like 8-9 deep. All because of the development that Arthur Smith's been putting into these guys. When he first came in, his first thing was, I'm going to fix the offensive line. Show me what you guys did last year. Guess what? He saw what they did last year, said, throw this all in the trash. Let's work from scratch again, and let me show you how to work with this offensive line. He's doing basically exactly what Chip Kelly did in his first year with the offensive line, which is exactly what Ohio State needed, to be quite honest, because that's what helped them last time. He's even planning on using Sam Greer in the tight end jumbo package, which from what I hear, sounds like they're able to do a lot more with than what they did last year, because they're able to do multi things, and I can't wait to see what they do. He's also going to move Jeremiah Smith around the offense everywhere. He's going to be moved everywhere on the offense. So
we can use him like Debo. I actually like that. I actually like that idea for Jeremiah. Let's show how elusive he is. I love that idea.
Yeah, inside, outside, motion, everything. Like, they're going to be using him everywhere just to try to get him some good matchups. But it's not just that, but the wide receivers behind him, because we talk about how the wide receiver room, we're not sure who's going to be the number 2, this, that, and the other. They look deeper and far more explosive, because one of the things they needed to work on was yards after catch.
Yeah.
They've been great at that, actually. They have. They've been great at that, as a matter of fact, with Arthur Smith. He's even having working on yards after catch and blocking, which, thank you, Arthur Smith. Thank you. That's all we've been asking for. They look more explosive. Now, the tight end room is the only big concern, but it's not really much because, well, he's going to know how to, Arthur Smith is going to know how to make the tight ends useful enough where they can be good. Now, I'll tell you this. Nate Roberts is a great receiving tight end. He's the best of the bunch. When it comes to blocking, last year he was good, but he needs to do better in some other aspects of blocking for him to, be a full-on, all-around tight end. But in the next one, which is the one that every Buckeye has been asking for, which is all about really the secondary and especially special teams and the final thoughts. Now, the secondary has been very much improved. Like, for instance, Devin Sanchez, the freshman from last year, he had his freshman moments. He had his great moments. He's looked so much better, especially when he's going up against Jeremiah Smith on a regular basis. He does. As a matter of fact, the other part of it is with this is you have McClain taking over the leadership role since Caleb Downs left. Because look, you can replace Caleb Downs as far as physicality. You can't replace him as far as his intelligence and his leadership and putting everybody in the right position to strike when the time is right. Because that's the one thing Caleb Downs had. So you got that going on here with McClain, as well as Jay Timmons. He will be a nickel, it sounds like. And he's a freshman, people. He's been making plays. And it's not just him. You also have Dominic Kelly, who's been showing out. The linebacker room looks deep as heck. Another thing right here is the linebackers and the defensive line. Now, the D-line couldn't legitimately go 10 deep. Did you know that? The D-line can go 10 deep. And the linebackers can go 5-6 deep.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Not only that, but Peyton Pierce is going to be the coach on the field, as he should be. He's going to be the one wearing the green helmet, communicating with everybody, the green dot on the helmet. He's going to be doing that. So, honestly, and not only that, but you have Pettijohn, Alford, Johnson, Sincere Johnson. That kid already looked like a freak. That kid sounds like he might get some playing time. And he a freshman. And he a freakazoid. As a freshman. And you still got Garrett Stover, who's freaky fast. You still got Eli Johnson, who's really freaky good. Christian Allegro, who seems like he's going to be the perfect weapon against tight ends when they try to use tight ends against them. Yeah. So the tight ends, so basically they're going to be able to go deep. And like I said, back to the one about the special teams, because this is one that everybody wants to hear about. And it looks like special teams has been getting a lot more coaching since they got Robbie Disher. Like, seriously, special teams look like they could make a huge jump, and it seems like they're going to make a lot of differences regarding special teams overall. Like, kicking is being better. You have Rookert and Bradford to receive series playing time on here as well, by the way, and they may do something regarding special teams, but also in the backfield. They are going to get some playing time in the backfield and in special teams. They're also... they're looking to do a lot of things with special teams, as a matter of fact, like blocking punts, blocking field goals. They've been working on that. Returning punts and returning kickoffs. They've been getting better at that. So the bottom line is, when it comes to from what we've seen of the line of scrimmage as far as these practices, the entire Ohio State team looks like they're just ready to go. And they're super deep everywhere, people. Everywhere. Everywhere. Like, what are we talking about here? And you're talking about they're on a downtown, buddy?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think this team looks better than they have in a while. And going off of last season, yeah, we lost guys to the draft, but
11 guys.
we lost. You lost 11 guys to the draft, but that's
Well, actually, more than 11. It's like 14 dudes. They could have repeated. Maybe even got to Georgia's record had they got a couple more guys drafted.
yeah.
So it's like they have lost more guys to the draft, and the guys who didn't even get drafted still ended up signing to teams that wanted them, and they played as well. So it's like
this team is still explosive. They still have all of their pieces and talent. I don't see Ohio State being an unranked anything this season at all. I see Ohio State in the college football playoffs. Because
even at 9-3, as long as they don't lose to no bad team, because they're not Texas, they ain't gonna lose to no Florida team. Like Ryan Day is not gonna be Urban where he's losing to a team he got no business losing to. He ain't doing that. I'm sorry. Like Ryan Day's not doing that. He's not.
Ryan Day has become the coach that Ohio State has needed, and I don't see any way, shape, or form that he's not having an impressive season this season. I could say that with all certainty. But yeah, as an unranked, no, that's the last team that's on my mind to be an unranked team that will not be in a playoff position.
You're right. Like, what made you think that? It's like I don't understand. Why would you believe that? Now I know there are some people in the media who do this just to rage at Ohio State fans, but he genuinely seems like he means what he says, and I'm like, what's the proof? Like, where? Like, are you sure you're not talking about Clemson? Are you confusing Ohio State with Clemson? Seriously, like, and I get it too. Like, you see Bama have their downturn since Nick Saban left, but that's because Nick Saban's gone. And you've seen Georgia have their up and down. But it's like, do you want to know what the difference is between Ohio State, Clemson, Bama, and Georgia as of right now? Ohio State doesn't rely on stacked classes. They know that they got to do development.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for years, people. It's development. Coaching staffs.
And that is crazy how we've come to this day and age where we're looking at stat classes and like, yeah, no, you guys are going to be the best team because you guys got a stat draft class of guys that played in high school. Where did that become the end all be all? Like, that's not the end of this.
That was like back in the day when you needed top classes before NIL and all that became a thing. That's when those stat classes mattered a lot.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter because of the fact that improvement makes a player. Like, we see so many guys that have been top ranked guys and get to the league and become busts. And it's not because they were bad players. It's just because at some point the game you couldn't get with you couldn't adapt. Your transitioning wasn't positive because we were still going off of your old accolades of what you used to do, and we never worked on what you can do better. It's improvement. That's what college is for. That's why we enjoy watching college football, because this is where you get to make mistakes, and then we can polish you to where the next level or the next thing you do makes you better. Like, I'm almost the type, you forget the last snap. You know, you make an interception, you forget about it. It happened, it's over. You look at the next play, you look at the next drive. That's always the mindset I've always had, no matter what it is. You miss a tackle, fine. You know, I think it's so crazy to come from this day and age where a player will make a mistake and look at his coach. And like, all right, so you gonna take me out? You gonna like, no. But you don't need to look at me. I know what you did. You messed up. Get back. Get it back. Be better than what you just were. All right? That's all I have to say about that. But when it comes to draft classes and that being the end all be all, and it's not. You know, you can have a really stat draft class with great top picks in each of your positions. But is that going to be all you need? It's not. That's why you need coaches. That's why you need development. But listen, I like a lot of the teams this season. I think there are going to be some teams that are going to make some really big impacts and really surprise us. But I also think it's going to be some teams that they are really, really high up on are going to do exactly what they did last season and be a bowl team or a non-playoff team. And that's just because of where they're set up to be, because their talent only can get them so far. The coaching has the match.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still some teams that we're still trying to figure out the coaching side other than the talent side.
Yep. So, and again, you still got a lot of teams who still ain't figured that out. I mean, again, people, you've seen it. Look at Texas A&M. Again, they're always the greatest example of don't buy into the fact that a great, all-time great recruiting class is going to lead to you being successful. If you ain't got the right coach, you're going to suck no matter what. So, like, I don't get where you guys are talking about, oh, well, they can't stack Duke. They don't rely on that. Yeah, they were able to do that back in the day, and they're still doing it now. And they're still going into the portal getting guys. It's not like they're just incompetent to it. Like, people, the culture is also the same. Because when people also bring up the culture, I'm like, guys, the culture has been the same long before any of the coaches that came before Ryan Day ever were around. It started with Paul Brown, then Wes Lexter, or some other coach that was before Woody Hayes, then Woody Hayes, then Earl Bruce, Cooper, Tressel, Urban, then Day. The culture has been through these guys in their own way. It started with Paul Brown, and they built the culture around no one person is bigger than the Block O. No coach, no player, no AD, no president, nobody is bigger than the Block O. That's continued. And the culture has evolved as time has gone on, people. Cultures can evolve. They will be the same. They will still keep their traditions, but they will modernize it and still be the same, just through different variations in different stages. Nothing about Ohio State's culture's changed other than the fact it's evolved. That's all. So it's like when you kind of make a stupid comment like, oh, they go unranked and they won't make the playoffs. I'm like, the last time that happened, they had Luke Fickell as their interim head coach after they fired Tressel for Tattoo-Gate. That was the last time that happened. And Fickell was not ready to be a head coach. The talent was not the problem. It was coaching. They had the talent to win more. They had the talent to win 11 games.
Yeah.
Like, just because you lost Terrell Pryor and the members of the Tattoo Five, the other members of the Tattoo Five, didn't mean you didn't have the talent to go win. You just didn't have the coach. That was the problem.
Yeah, that's where half of the problems occur. You know, we ask why do we fire coaches first? Because coaches are the ones that are supposed to put you in situations. You know, talent will get you so far. Your talent is great if you have all of the things to be coached. But if I can coach you well, you're going to go far. I think that's what makes great players. That's what makes great schools. We look at legacies. We look at the players before them that have shown something from any school. That's what makes them great players. You know, it doesn't just be off talent alone. And this, I feel like when the episodes we've done this summer have been about guys and talent and nothing about coaching. We have always talked about guys having this talent or having this. We just talked about Tennessee getting the running back of their dreams. But that has to come with something. Because his talent only can go so far, but you have to help him to even bring that talent out of him.
There's even a chance that the stuff you gave him could end up being illegal, because if you guys didn't catch it on the shows I talked about previously, the Protect College Sports Act is on its way to being initiated soon, in months it sounds like, because the SEC and the Big Ten are on board with it. So it's like, if that becomes fruition, Tennessee's deal with the running back of their dreams, DGG, is completely illegal. Like, so y'all basically, it's against the law, so you gotta get rid of that deal, or you gotta restructure to where you're paying it out of your pocket fully. You can't ask Adidas to pay the rest of the $1 million or $2 million, whatever you're paying DGG. You can't ask them to pay that money now. You gotta come it out of the school's pocket now.
That's the
unfortunate part. No, it shouldn't. But that's what Tennessee gets for doing that crap.
You can't ask an endorsement company to help you pay
off.
Off.
That's the point. The Protect College Sports Act makes that illegal. You can't ask them to help you no more.
That's just like me saying, hey, Jalen Williams, you're such an incredible wide receiver, but we can't match that contract. But we're gonna tell Nike to pay it, and they're gonna pay out the rest of your contract for whatever the NIL money is. But like, it's technically coming from them, but it's really coming from us. I'm not picking up your tab. Either you pay him, or you tell him to take less of whatever you can pay him. But we're not picking up your tab. That's crazy. You
And
can't.
Adidas only went along with it just because they figured they could get the kid, and they just wanted to help out Tennessee because they are to Tennessee what Oregon is to Nike. Except the difference is, at least for Nike, the owner is actually the owner is someone else who's part of that company, are alumni from Oregon. So at least you can say that. But
Because we can turn that into you can be like, oh, this is just me giving back to my alma mater.
yeah, that's basically what it is.
How do you turn that
But
into?
even he doesn't get involved in the NIL deals. He just donates them money to give the NIL to these kids.
Right.
He ain't gotta do it.
and
Like
that-
he already has like a deal set up. Like he signs these kids to separate deals, but he don't pay their money. He don't pay their NIL.
And now if the Adidas CEO said like, hey, I want to give a donation, that's a little different. We can roll with that. But no, I can't pay out the money you offered me and go it through my own endorsement deal. No.
But here's the worst part too, is like for them, like I said, there will be a salary cap for how many players you retain and the players you bring in through recruiting. So yeah, there is gonna be some cap. So now you definitely kind of screwed there.
What's going on? I've been watching sports since 2016. That feels like a decade ago. I've never
It's 2016, it's 2026, so it kind of was.
I've never, in all of my years of watching sports, I've never had to have a conversation of us talking about in college, I got to add a salary cap to how many guys I can pay to come to my school. I've never seen a player hold out for an NIL deal to go to a college. And I'm just like, what's going on? Like, I understand that the times have changed, but this is college. This is not major. We're not in the league yet. We're not in that moment where you're a first round or second round pick where you can have that say of negotiating your contract. You're a woman.
Well, the good thing is, I don't think they can do that because if they do, there is penalties for that. But also, they try to do this because of these agents. And the good thing is, like I said about the law, because you weren't here with me when I talked about it, which was these parents who try to be the agents, they can't do that no more. Now you got to go through and be a legitimate agent. It's the same thing with agents, though. Like, you can't ask these kids to pay you 20%. You're only getting 5% of what they're making now. Yeah. So this law is to help these kids. The other thing is with the transfer portal, because we talked about it with Indiana, how they did, like, went through the portal and did all this. Yeah, now you can't do that no more. Everybody's only transferring one time. You get one transfer. Now, here's the funny thing. If a coach leaves, you're excluded from that. Like, you can transfer, that won't penalize you. You'll still get another free transfer. But any other time, nah. Like, buddy, you get one transfer only. After that, you're gonna probably have to sit out for a year. So if you're going to the portal, you better be wary of the consequences. So that's the other thing that's coming.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm actually like the college sports app because it's supposed to negate the craziness.
I think the NCAA has definitely put a damper on things, especially when it came to just kind of what people taking advantage of. That's because courts do not trust them to enforce the rules, and rightfully so, because it's like they've earned that reputation, as well as the fact that like they just threw their hands up and said they just not gonna do nothing about it. They just because they lose in court all the time. And I will say, and that's another crazy thing, because I think the NCAA has had some very good cases, especially when it came to Ole Miss's quarterback and Texas A&M's quarterback, and then they have been just blatantly overtaken by court laws and saying, "Oh, well, no, we're going to let them play."
Yeah, well, the good thing is with the Protect College Sports Act is it will prevent governments from making any decisions. Like governments, I don't know what they'll do as far as the courts and everything, but I do believe the courts won't be able to impact these guys as much, but we'll see. But when it comes to governments of the state, like, Tennessee and Ole Miss, like, how the states of those schools have been making laws to try to, get an advantage in NIL, yeah, they can't do that no more. They can't be involved.
Should not be able
They
to.
can't be.
Because
Yeah, no, that's what they do. That's what they do. That's what they're doing down south, and it's only down south. Like you don't see that nowhere else.
Follow under your jurisdiction. We are the NCAA. They play under us. They do not play under you. They play in your state, but that doesn't mean that you should have any first say.
Yeah. But the good thing is they don't have any power to do that anymore under the Protect College Sports Act as well. So.
Hey, NCAA, good job. Good job fighting back. I like the fight.
Oh, for once, that's because the president is helping them do that, as well as the government's entirely. Like, they're doing everything they can to put a stop to this. But, yeah, no, but people, it's just how college sports has been crazy. And like I said, these are just, people be coming up with some of the dumbest takes I couldn't even. It's like, what made you think that? That is just the dumbest take I've ever heard. Like I said, I get it. They have a tough schedule. They do. They got really the toughest schedule, more than anyone else really in college football. But I wouldn't think they're going to go out and like go unranked. Like it's not like they're losing 5 games. Like get real, buddy.
Yeah, no, they're not.